I'm gonna be honest, I kind of forgot that you can get banned on Xbox. Like, I remember back in the day when I was young, like the meme of like, my dad works for Xbox, and I'll ban you. That's what I think of when I think of like people getting banned from Xbox. Like a total myth, an old wives' tale. I guess besides the fact that like, people like hack games, that was kind of the only realistic way I thought you could get banned. Well, some news came out today from Xbox that they are unveiling a multi-strike enforcement system for, I guess, offenses or rule breaking, and this can, lead to you getting banned. So incorporating a new approach to handling unacceptable conduct among players, Xbox has introduced a multi-strike enforcement system that promises a complex yet impactful response to varying degrees of offenses. This innovative system, likened by Dave McCarthy, the corporate vice president for Xbox Player Services, to the demerit system, employed by driver's license regulations in numerous countries, involves assigning strikes to players based on the severity of their infractions. Alright, so for instance, like using profanity, swearing, saying a no-no word, that would warrant a single strike, while bullying or harassment could result in 2 strikes, and hate speech might lead to 3 strikes. Now, this kind of reminds me of like being in elementary school and like having a straw pulled when like you misbehave. And the accumulation of strikes will trigger progressive suspensions from Xbox's online services, encompassing multiplayer functions, as well as messaging, parties, and party chats. This tiered approach escalates up to a maximum of 8 strikes, or 8 popsicle sticks if we are going by elementary school standards. A 2-strike count leads to a 1-day suspension, while 4 strikes results in a 7-day suspension. The most severe consequence entails an 8-day strike accumulation, leading to a full year suspension, and Microsoft calls your mom and tells her that you've been misbehaving. Okay, maybe not that last part, but these strikes will remain on players' records for a duration of 6 months. During the suspension period, players retain the ability to utilize their Xbox consoles and services for single-player gaming. It's noteworthy, however, that Xbox reserves the right to enforce more severe actions, including a complete ban with revoked access to purchased games, especially in cases of egregious violations and illegal activities. Which I guess kind of makes sense, but I mean, if you take this kind of seriously in terms of like, I can just get like, 8 strikes for like, swearing or something. I don't know, it's a lot different than illegal activity or hacking, something like that. Admittedly intricate in design, this system seemingly requires a dedicated and persistent offender to amass enough strikes within a span of 6 months to warrant a year-long suspension. Now, despite the complexity, Xbox's objectives remain twofold, or at least so they say. Firstly, to provide clarity to affected players regarding the mechanisms of enforcement and the path to reinstating their accounts to good standing. And secondly, to effectively educate players on the repercussions of their actions, thereby fostering improved behavior and deterring repeat offenses. Now I feel like we're moving on from the elementary school system. I feel like we're in like the full criminal corrections system. Like I feel like we're talking about like probation and prison sentences. The introduction of an enforcement history tracker contributes to transparency, granting players insight into their account status and the journey that led to it. McCarthy emphasized that the system gives a better understanding of enforcement severity and the cumulative effect of multiple enforcements, ensuring that players facing lengthy suspensions cannot claim ignorance. And it's worth mentioning that McCarthy further revealed that based on the data, only a minority of players, so less than 1%, received temporary suspensions in 2022, and even fewer, so 1/3 of the aforementioned percentage, faced a second suspension. The data suggests that players tend to correct their behavior after the initial enforcement, demonstrating an increased awareness of Xbox community standards and appropriate engagement on the platform. Which I think is kind of true. I mean, we've definitely come a long way from the 2009 Modern Warfare 2 lobbies, where I'm pretty sure I learned words that I had never learned before. Definitely strange times. And whether you are for or against that, some people might say, hey, it's okay, it's free speech, bring it back. Who cares? It's just online, whatever. Other people might say, hey, let's get a more more respectful attitude, or maybe not attitude, but a more respectful and accepting environment. Whatever your viewpoint is on that, Xbox is, well, kind of supporting the latter of that. I guess the hope is that this innovative approach will foster a more respectful and responsible gaming community. That is definitely the perception that, Xbox and even like PlayStation and Nintendo have been kind of going for within the last, 5 or 10 years. They're really pushing, including everybody and respecting, all cultures and all of that. Again, maybe you think that's cool, or maybe you think that's not really a big deal, but it looks like Xbox is taking it seriously. But yeah, like I said, while my knee-jerk reaction to this might be like, well, hey, I survived the 2009 Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. On the other hand, things have changed. I don't know, there's a different environment now. And maybe I'm just getting older. I'm not like 12 anymore, but I do think it's annoying just to like go into a lobby and just hear every word under the sun screamed into your ears. And I think a lot of people would agree. I don't think you get as much of that nowadays. And I think looking into the future, something like this kind of does make sense. Kind of getting a dystopian here, but we are moving to a world that is more virtual, more online. We see stuff like, VR chat and Meta. As we kind of move our lives more into the online sphere, I guess it is kind of important to, enforce these rules that kind of lead to a more stable environment, I guess, so that it is not just complete and utter chaos. But that is just my opinion. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what this looks like as Xbox implements this new feature. I don't know about you, but I, for one, do not want to be sent to the principal's office or get any popsicle sticks drawn, okay? I'll be careful what I say going forward. I'll watch what I say. Now, one issue that I do kind of have with this is that whole thing about, Xbox saying that they reserve the right to enforce really severe actions, including a complete ban on like even single player games that you have purchased. I don't know about that one. That's very odd. But again, just my opinion. We'll see what this looks like as we go forward. For now, well, I guess be on your best behavior.